Finding the right person for the job isn't easy. Just ask someone who hired a stuntman to do their home renovations.
Just finished a new sunroom, Mrs. C. The best part is I used candy glass for all the windows, so you can do this. And this. Doesn't hurt a bit either.
But if you've got an insurance question, you can always count on your local Geico agent. They can bundle your policies, which could save you hundreds.
And if you don't want to take the long way to the kitchen, the walls are breakaway too. See?
For expert help with all your insurance needs, visit geico.com/local today.
Searching for just the right job? Whether you're looking for full-time, part-time, or seasonal work, you can get started today. Amazon Jobs offers the whole package with great pay and flexible shifts that allow you to choose when and how much you work. Find a warehouse close to home and discover the role that works for you. To get your application started for an hourly job, go to amazon.com/apply. That's amazon.com/apply. Amazon is proud to be an equal opportunity employer.
What is going on? You are listening to Tags Podcast, aka Talk About Gay Sex Podcast, celebrating 5 years. This is episode 377, alongside Jeremy Ross Lopez. How you doing, Jeremy?
I'm good. How are you?
Really good, really good. Post-Pride, waking up from a long nap is Cody Maurice Doggett. Are you there, Cody?
Hello, darling. Where am I at? Is this thing on? Oh my goodness, no.
You're not on the dance floor anymore, so wake up, bitch.
I was literally almost asleep on the dance floor, though, because we'll get into it, I'm sure. But yes, that was me on the dance floor.
Let's get into it. As many of you know, Pride ended here in New York City chaotically with so much going on. The streets were filled. I was on the streets on Friday, Saturday night in the Village, which was a lot of fun, but they were rolling out into the streets. You would have thought it was New Orleans, the way people were carrying on. So much fun. I did get to go to the Pride March a little bit, but it was really sweltering hot. We're talking 90s and humid, so that whole mixture when you're trying to look
and the
cute,
straight sun is just not a good combo.
Yeah, and I don't know what's gone. I mean, hopefully it's probably for security reasons, but it's, these days they really block off the streets. I know, Jeremy, when you and I rode on a float several years ago, you can't just cross streets and go down any street that you think is available. They block them off.
Yeah, and it's like really difficult to get around.
Yeah, so we stayed a little bit, saw some really great floats, like the Sage float, which is for elderly gays and looking after them, which I was really happy to see, and some other fun floats. Like glitter was falling literally into the sky because they had glitter machines from an apartment, which was a lot of fun. And I don't know, it was really great. I ended up at the Eagle and had a great time. Went early though because I wanted to avoid the long lines.
Yeah,
and
smart.
It was so much fun. Jeremy, you'll be happy to know I talked to Christophe, who you used to work there, and he gives a big hug to you, and he's following you on Twitter or on Instagram, and it was just really fun catching up with him.
Love that.
How much fun did you have, Cody? Because I know you were out and about.
Whew, child, yes. So
Catch your breath.
I know, right? Just even thinking about it is exhausting. So, but I worked Friday and Saturday. I worked a double on Saturday, and then I went out to Alegria at the Brooklyn Mirage. I think I got there at 1:00 in the morning, and I was out until 4 a.m. So I was pretty exhausted.
For a party that started at 4 p.m., correct?
Yeah. And the people were there from 4. I talked to people and they were there from 4:00 to 4:00 in the morning. And
oh my god!
So
did they camp out? I mean,
there's a food court. You can eat.
What?
There is everything there at that venue. It's a pretty amazing venue.
What kind of food are they serving there at that party?
I wasn't eating no food at that party, child.
Okay. I didn't think so.
But I think I saw like fries and things like that, like hot dogs, all kinds of things, burgers. There's everything there. So
backyard barbecue.
Exactly.
Right.
It's like the
fun. So you recovered. You had a good Pride, I take it.
And then on Sunday we went to Joe's straight friends came in, or one of them's bisexual, but yes, so that she's
They
a part
count
of
too.
yeah, they totally do. So I can't discredit that. So they came in and they came in from Long Island, and we went to Rebar the next yesterday, and we just hung out. We had some drinks, and then we went and ate, and then we came home. We danced and partied, and it was great.
Fun. And I talked about it already, but I didn't talk with you, Jeremy, about how much fun we had at Providence Pride.
Oh my God, that was
And
like the best Pride I think I've ever been to.
honestly, I mean, we just ended New York Pride, which, was epic in many ways. I ended up at the Eagle, which made it great for me. But I have to say, Providence kind of rocked. And to me, it was all because of these things that we were talking about last week called block parties. What did you think of that? And how much fun did you have at that?
Yeah, the outdoor parties were just so cool. And one of my favorite things was the Pride Parade during the night because of all the lights and stuff. I just felt like that was a
Yes.
really cool setup. And I also really enjoyed having most of the festivities take place on Saturday night because, I mean, typically most people work on Monday.
Mm-hmm.
So it's nice to have all of
A
the
Saturday
majority.
night.
Yeah.
So much fun. And I've never really experienced an evening parade like that, except for Disneyland. Disneyland does like a nighttime
Yeah.
parade in LA, which is a lot of fun. But I've never experienced an evening parade. And it just means that they light up their floats that much more. The music is pounding. And then you get to take in the parade and then hop over to a block party and carry the party on and then go back and look at the parade. And then maybe it's because it's such a close proximity, smaller, that they are able to do that. I don't know what the recipe for success on that is, but I think more cities should do that.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Unfortunately, over on the West Coast, my old stomping ground, San Francisco, which also celebrates Pride the same day New York does, had their festivities were cut short on Sunday when someone sprayed mace into the crowd, causing momentary panic. And it occurred around 5:30, which, thank goodness, because most of the parades, I believe, usually start around noon. But once that happened, people were really freaking out. I was watching some videos because the cops were running and everybody just assumed, are we the next gun related violence that's occurring? And it was just created panic that they shut it down. Again, it was around 5:30, so at least most of the parade had gone on. And I talked to other people that were able to celebrate Pride outside of the parade, but I was with a friend at our parade here in New York yesterday, and he mentioned it without even knowing that this went on in San Francisco. He said, I'm a little bit nervous, I have to say, with everything that's going on in the country, being at this open air Pride festival parade that, and I said, oh God, I didn't even think of that. But yes, it is something to consider these days. And here, San Francisco is just had this happen.
Yeah.
Which,
Did you hear about what happened in Washington Square Park, though?
No, what happened?
So somebody set off fireworks in the square while there was a bunch of people there, and people thought it was gunshots. It was later in the evening, probably about 8 or 9. I'm not entirely sure, but all you could see it's on TikTok. You saw people running away from the square. It was pretty scary and frightening because you never know.
Yeah, it's really weird. We were also in Central Park on Saturday. Again, it was really hot and we were lying out. And by the way, listeners and anybody that comes to the city, I think it's called the Great Park, or I forget where everyone lays out.
Oh, the Great Lawn.
The Great Lawn.
Is it Shepherd's Bay or something like that?
Sheepshead.
Yeah, you definitely got the Great Lawn right. And it is, to me, I love it so much because you go and you'll see gays in their Speedos frolicking around. You'll see straights playing this thing. There was a huge water fight going on. There's all these different games and people lying out. And my friend was, because apparently in Boston, you can't have open bottles or anything. Nope. Here, I don't know if it's legal or not, but no one bothers you. Bottles of wine are being drank, and it's just a lot of fun. Well, one of the things when we went to the restroom, we heard kind of an explosion, not an explosion enough to, start duck and cover.
Mhm.
But I look over and what do I see is pink, like somebody did fireworks with pink smoke going out into the air. And I'm like, oh, agenda reveal party.
Oh,
Seriously,
God.
that's damn. And we already talked about how I feel about those. I'm totally think they're ridiculous. And you don't know what your child at some point may want to identify as.
Get 'em,
And
Steve.
so I just think it's so outdated and really tone deaf in this climate that we are currently in right now to be putting explosives out there. It's just dumb. I think it's a waste of money and probably bad for the pollution. And I could go on, you guys, but I won't. Really lame. But anyways, check out the Great Lawn in Central Park. Super fun. And hopefully nobody got hurt in San Francisco Pride. Well, it was a little bit bittersweet on Friday when Pride kicked off here in New York City. But the news came out about Roe versus Wade being overturned. And you might ask, why do we talk about this on a, gay sexuality podcast here? But the reason we would talk about it is because our sisters, our allies, it's affecting their bodies and everything that is related to a woman's choice. Not that I don't think people are ever saying they are here for abortion. They are just here for the choice. And there's all kinds of reasons we could go on and on. But it's really a signal of our country right now. Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas on Friday called for overturning the constitutional rights for things like contraceptives. And he actually alluded to and said LGBTQ rights in an opinion concurring with the majority to decision to the overturning of Roe versus Wade. And he also mentioned intimacy laws, things that we've taken for granted. Gen Zers, all of the generations, really, we've come to know and love these freedoms. These are potentially threatened now under this new climate that would allow each state to decide. So it could come down to one state is not going to allow your friends that are married in a particular state to have that right anymore. It could come down to that. And so that's why the reason I think I want to talk about it is because we have to vote this November. And I was talking to a friend over the weekend who's younger, and he said, "Oh, I never vote." And I said, "Right, but this is when you do kind of have to pay attention." This could trickle down to ultimately affect you. And I went through these reasons why. And I think that's what we all have to do. I'm using this platform now to get the word out that maybe you haven't voted before, but you can vote now, and it could ultimately affect you and the way you choose to love and just your life choices. I don't know. Does anyone want to add? Jeremy, what do you think about this? Did you hear it?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's awful news, and it really is just disgusting how someone else can have the say over your body. And I think it also it makes it dangerous for individuals that really want to be able to have that decision and make the choice themselves, and having to seek like an alternative route on figuring out like a different option rather than following through with like a full-term pregnancy.
And it's so short-sighted too, because no one's talking about if you do have this child, some people say, "Oh, we'll put it up for adoption." It's like, first of all, it's their choice. But beyond that, adoption agencies aren't always looking out for every kid out there. And there are orphanages that really it doesn't always work out for everyone. Vice President Harris was just talking in an interview, and she said, if you have a son, don't think that you shouldn't be having this conversation with them now. Because if they get a girl pregnant, they're going to have to, it's going to change their whole life too, if they're forced to have this child. Cody, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I just agree with everything you guys are saying. If this completely affects our community. And if you think it doesn't, then that's fine by you. But also you need to realize that because this doesn't affect you directly, they are coming for all of our rights by having this decision. That if you think that you are immune to having your rights stripped away, just look back into the history books and consider what has happened before, and just know that if we let this one thing go, then it's possible that anything is possible, actually, that they could come for our rights, like the right to marry, anything that you hold dear, that they can come and take it away. So it might seem like a small thing, or like it doesn't directly affect you, but it does, because it affects us all.
Right. And what you can do is you can just keep abreast of what's going on. And then come November, it's called the midterms, is just to brush up on it, talk to your friends, and vote. You can do that in your state. So that's why we talk about that. Guys, I have some breaking news that just came in. Raheem Shabazz makes his
Ooh.
bottoming debut.
No way.
He just was fucked bareback by Sean Xavier. This is breaking news, everybody, at least on our channel.
Oh my.
After hundreds of videos as a top only star over the last 4 years, not to mention multiple awards, including CyberSocket when he was there. Raheem won probably best top. I can't remember. I believe it was best dick. And he looks so gorgeous, you guys, in person too. Like when they say you see these porn stars or actors in real life, he looked really good. And he's doing what a lot of people never thought he would do, which is bottom. He did it with newcomer Sean Xavier, or who has had a comeback earlier this week. And it's with two other guys too there's a third guy in the mix that's really hot too. And it looks really crazy. Apparently, the guy he got topped by, Sean Xavier, is totally a huge top. So he went all in. I asked the two tops on this platform that I'm talking to right now, would you ever consider switching over, Jeremy, and trying it?
I think I would in a relationship, but I don't think that I would in just like hooking up with someone. I just don't see that happening.
Yeah, I mean, and it's a lot to bottom, and I've been back on my Pure for Men, which really works, you guys. They were a sponsor here on our show for a while there, and it really does work to keep you clean and all that good stuff. But we were also talking, Jeremy, about what it really takes to bottom and the diet that you have to eat, basically, to make sure that you're clean, because otherwise you'll have a lot of anxiety. And you in Providence were at a table having steak and onion rings.
Yeah, that was my dinner on Friday night.
Before they headed out. Yeah, it was delicious, I'm sure. Cody, what are your thoughts? Would you switch over if Joe said, hey, all of a sudden I want to top you?
I mean, he would have to talk me. He would have to do some serious convincing, but I would definitely consider it. Yeah, I've bought him before in relationships, and not even in relationships, just hooking up. If the guy is all about the chemistry for me. So if the guy is giving me that top, I want to bottom energy, then I'm down. We'll see what happens. But you again, you have to do some serious convincing. So
soul searching.
Hole searching.
Hole searching. There you go. Exactly. Yeah. But good for Raheem. He's clearly the star of the times right now. And this, I mean, he doesn't even need a PR agent when he comes out with something. It's kind of exciting to keep up with his news and what he does. So I'm here for it. Check that out. Well, back to the monkeypox. We have to talk about it, guys. But this is kind of a good thing, I have to say. At the Chelsea Clinic, which I know you remember, Jeremy,
Definitely.
Callum Lord, on 9th Avenue, here where I live in Chelsea, with no advance notice or outreach, New York announced in the middle of the day that they'd vaccinate men who have sex with men against monkeypox. And it's really not a monkeypox necessarily vaccine. It's a smallpox, but it works with monkeypox to help with that. The appointment website doesn't work, according to Liam Stack at the time, but you could just line up, and they had maybe 150, that Liam wrote at the time, with a 2-hour wait, and there's all these guys lined up. I know, Cody, I sent you an Instagram post from legendary Lady Bunny, who posted it on her Instagram account, and you know Lady Bunny has tons of followers, and people listen to Miss Bunny.
Yes.
I think it was really great that they did this. This is when I really love New York. This is when I love big cities that step up to the plate, like New York, like San Francisco. The reality is they knew Gay Pride was coming. The reality is they knew people are going to be going to all kinds of parties and hooking up. It's just what we're going to do. And rather than shy away from it, they said, listen, let's vaccinate people. Let's get people, and the kids lined up. That's what really I love. There's no shame in it. What were your thoughts when you heard about this, Cody?
Oh no, I loved it. I thought it was amazing. It looked so amazing, and it made me feel so good that people were actually taking their health so seriously. I actually, because I said on the show before that I would consider going for monkeypox, but I didn't fit the criteria
For the vaccination.
Exactly. So I was like, to get vaccinated, like you said. Sorry. But yeah, I was considering going over there, but I didn't. I think you had to hook up.
Well, let me read it here. I have it here on New York.gov. Gay, bi, and other men who are 18 and older, that's you, Cody, who have sex with men and have barely a couple years shy, who have sex with men and have had multiple or anonymous sex partners. That's the key for you, probably, Cody.
Yeah.
In the last 14 days are eligible to receive the vaccine. Vaccination is free and available regardless of immigration status. You should especially consider getting vaccinated if your partners are showing symptoms of monkeypox, such as rash or sores, and you met recent partners through online apps or social media platforms such as Grindr, Tinder, Scruff, or at clubs, raves, sex parties, saunas, or other large gatherings. And so with that, I think, that's what you're talking about.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But just the people lining up and going out and getting vaccinated was enough to kind of make me feel safe and secure in going out and into the parties and just having a great time and letting things go. Let my hair down. So yeah.
Yeah, I think the problem with the whole thing right now is that, so while this is great, I tried to just go on there. I thought, well, let me just go see if I can get an appointment. And it was already so late in the game that there were no appointments available. And by the way, they don't really they're trying to ship out more vaccinations to handle this. They only had so many. And because there was a line wrapping around like a club to get this, there weren't any really left. And so I think we're going to see more of this going on, because I read another article that says monkeypox virus is mutating more than expected, which isn't good news. And so I just think we need to really start looking at this, particularly in the big cities, or if you are sexually active, along with moving on from monkeypox, meningitis, you guys. An outbreak among Florida gays kills 7. The U.S. Center for Disease Control and Prevention and Florida Department of Health are investigating one of the worst outbreaks of meningitis disease among gay and bi men in U.S. history, the CDC said Wednesday. So far, 24 cases and 7 deaths among gay and bi men have been reported. And the CDC says the outbreak is primarily among gay, bi, and other men who have sex with men, including those with HIV. Recent data shows that about half of the cases are associated with this outbreak are among Hispanic men. Okay, see, me, us, this Latinx show right now.
Yeah.
This outbreak is mostly affecting people who live in Florida, but who are also affected some people who have traveled to Florida. So I think I was telling the story before that I went to a sex club in the past when meningitis was on the rise, and the sex club had, which I was, to my surprise, a doctor on hand who was giving the vaccination for meningitis, and I just got it because I thought, before I take that dick, I'm going to get a shot of this to prevent this. And I'm so happy I did. It only
double
lasts
shot.
for a double shot. And yeah, I mean, is that one thing that, Jeremy, what are your thoughts when you hear about cities like New York that really step up to the plate with some of this stuff? We have to, though, right? I
Yeah, I
mean,
think it's awesome and it's very smart, and it's great to have that resource and be able to use it and just make smart decisions.
yeah. And Cody, when you hear about stuff like this, does this, I mean, you must be so happy you're in a relationship right now, in a
Yeah.
monogamous relationship. I mean, for me personally, I'm after a broken ankle that I continuously talk about, because I really am truly grateful to be walking around again and back to it. It's my hot vac summer again. And I really want to get out there again sexually and have fun. But I've made an appointment. I have to go get my Truvada. That I'm at that
Refill.
point right now where you have to get tested.
hmm
But I'm going to ask him about if I don't know if he'll have it, but the monkeypox vaccine. I'm
hmm
going to ask him if he has meningitis, and even at my age, because 50 plus, I'm going to ask him about things like shingles too, because
Yeah.
apparently none of these things. There's a TikTok star that I was following a little bit, Matt Ford on TikTok, and he got monkeypox, and he says, guys, you do not want to
Oh
get
my
this. He showed the
goodness.
sores on his body that he said at its worst, he laid in bed, he had chills, he was sweating through his sheets, he had to ask for medication for the pain because in those intimate areas, which I'm assuming he meant like near the growing area where the sores were happening, was extremely painful.
Oh
And
my
so
goodness, no.
he just said, guys, go, if you can, get a vaccination for this. You do not, I repeat, you do not want this. And I am listening. So my doctor is going to get an earful from me when I go Wednesday morning.
Call ahead.
Call ahead to see if he has it. Yeah, or at least
Yeah.
he can inform me. I have to go anyway for my Truvada blood work done anyways, but I'll ask, oh, you mean call ahead to see if they
See
can
if
order?
they have it. Yeah, if they can get it in for you.
Oh, I'll call in the morning. Good advice, Cody
I
Maurice.
do my thing. I'm a
Absolutely.
hypochondriac child, so I'm worried about all
Yeah.
the things. So I'm fully
It's
on.
not,
Yeah.
it's probably good to have a little bit of that in you. I think it's also good that we are in crazy times right now. And I think you just have to really be on top. It's no longer that you can just kind of avoid the doctor and
Yeah.
hope for the best. I think you really have to really be your own strong advocate, keep up with the news, keep up. That's why we talk about this stuff, not to scare you, but to show what's going on in the world. And by the way, people are traveling again. So it may be in Florida right now, but people are coming from Florida, and sometimes these things don't show up right away.
Finding the right person for the job isn't easy. Just ask someone who hired a drama coach to be an IT guy.
Yeah, I'm having trouble logging in.
I'm not buying it. Say it again, this time with feeling.
I can't log in?
Come on, man, I want to feel your struggle.
But if you've got an insurance question, you can always count on your local Geico agent. They can bundle your policies, which could save you hundreds.
Now, like your life depends on it.
I can't log in!
Yes, we'll make an actor out of you yet.
For expert help with all your insurance needs, visit geico.com/local today.
You may sleep with, you just want to take your own health seriously and do what's right. And so, believe me, you'll be that much happier if you did, I believe.
Yes. Couldn't agree more.
Well, there is a porn star's dad who demonstrated pride for his son's career choice. What do your parents think has to be one of the most common questions, and this OnlyFans creator and adult film star got asked, and unfortunately, there are many accepting parents out there. As reported by The Sword, in the case of Drew Valentino, he's really cute, you guys. I'll post this on Tag's podcast. He found that his father had even gone as far to create some custom apparel earlier this year, I decided to come out to my family again, although this time about being in the adult movie industry. Ooh, that had to be an interesting convo.
Yeah.
Wrote the acclaimed performer on Instagram. Huge relief to find that my entire family was supportive and even excited for me. I flew home for Father's Day, and my dad was wearing a shirt. And what did the shirt say? Proud parent of a porn star. In the
Aw.
picture, it's so cute. Of this man with his arm around his adorable son. And I just think that's really cool. He then offered a mass response to those saying his dad was attractive, people said. The first being that his dad was always that stereotypical fit baseball jock. So, but now he's this really supportive father to his son. I was thinking about this a little bit, you guys, because when my friend was visiting this weekend, he was admiring and looking at all, you guys know my apartment, of
Mhm.
all of the accoutrement, as I like to say it, in my apartment. And I have stuff from all the places I've traveled, but I have a lot of homage to Tom of Finland, including sketches of me. And it's just kind of unapologetic of, sex positivity.
Mhm.
But I did tell him that the one time that I will take down my shower curtain, which is Tom of Finland, and the one huge dick Tom of Finland original, it's a numbered original, I'll have to say,
Oh my.
of two guys, and it's a huge dick guy getting fucked, but it's really art. It's Tom of Finland art, and I will take that down when my mom comes to visit, just because she don't need to see that.
That's right.
And it begs the question, how far and how much do you share with your family, Jeremy? Let's say your mom, you're super close to your mom.
I am, yeah, but I definitely think that there's a time and a place, and I think certain things you can keep to yourself, and
Yeah.
sex is definitely one of them.
Yeah, it was. So a friend of mine was telling me a story over the weekend about how he had this crazy experience, but in this really amazing posh house in the woods. And it was a young kid that he had met, and the mom acquired all this money. So she owned this property. And he found out next day when the mom how was yesterday? Did you guys have fun fucking by the pool? Like
Oh
she
my.
watched it a little bit,
No, she
and
didn't.
yes, and had a smirk on her face. I guess I'm using air quotes, cool mom, but I'm saying that with a shaky voice.
Oh
I
my
don't know
goodness.
how far I wouldn't want to. I don't need my mom to be my best friend. Oh, I am more close to my mom more than ever these days. And I'm about to see her starting this weekend, but I do draw a line on what's appropriate. And at least for me, we all have our own boundaries. Cody, how much do you share with your family? Do you have a dad? Would you share it like this porn star did to his dad?
I would not. I'm not really close to my dad, but my mom I'm incredibly close to. We talk about so many things, but I think that we don't really talk about the nitty-gritty, like, oh, he
I love
stuck
it.
it in, or he was 12 inches. No, none of that.
Or how about top bottom?
We
Just
we talk
basics
about
like,
top bottom. We talk about who's cute on television, all those things.
okay, yeah, me too.
What will surprise you though is, so I just moved into this apartment not too long ago with Joseph and my boyfriend, and my mom asked me, what do I want for a housewarming gift? And there's this bed frame, and it has a metal piece on top of it. And
Is there a mirror on the roof of it?
there's not a mirror. There's not a mirror on it, but there's a metal bar on the top of the bedpost. And she said, "Oh, are you going to chain Joe up to that metal bar?" And I was like,
Oh no, she didn't.
she totally did. And yes, I'm going to chain Joe up to that bar, but I don't want my mom to know that.
Or even you don't want your mom to even have that image in her head.
But-
It's just yeah, go ahead.
But she really went there. That is the first thing that came out of her mouth when I showed her the bed frame. She said, "Cody, oh, I see this. Oh, this is a nice one. You're gonna change Joe up to that bed frame?" I really was taken aback. I was so shocked. I couldn't believe my mom said that to me.
I mean, your mom, Jeremy, is so cool. I love because I've met her
Yeah.
so many times. How about things like if she was going to go on starting to date again? Are you into hearing about all that kind of stuff? Not the sex, but just at least the dating stuff.
Yeah,
Do you have those?
that's stuff we talk about.
Okay, yeah, but you don't want the nitty gritty stuff
No, not at
talked
all.
about. Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming this, and we should mention it's not like this porn star said that he had his father watch the porn that he creates. It's
Right.
just that he's a supportive dad on
Exactly.
his son's career choice. And I think when you talk in those terms, I think that's good. You want to be supportive of. My mom knows that we have a podcast, and oh, you're recording today. Okay, I'll get off the phone. She knows it's about sexuality. That's as far as she really wants to go with it. And she's told me that, and I said, yeah, and that's as far as I want to talk to you about it too.
Okay.
So when I love those kind of conversations, and yeah, that's how we keep it moving.
Okay. Does
Well-
she ask you about like what topics and things of that nature?
She's peripherally talked about some of the topics, and I said sex. I think I said sex positivity and advice that we often will give on the show, those types of things, but not the nitty gritty.
Yeah.
No,
'Cause my mom-
monkeypox, and
Yeah.
I mean,
My mom has asked what we talk about, like specific topics that we talk about. And I've told her, and even with the advice, she gives me advice on what I should say on some of the advice that we should give.
oh, I love that.
It's really
Well,
cool. It's a really good and open.
do we have a fourth host?
Big
Is there a
fan.
ghost over there?
Big
I love
fan.
that. Drop her advice every now and then.
Okay,
We're
I'll
here
be like,
for it.
Mama
We'll take
said.
it. Mama said. Mama said, knock you out. That's what I got to say. Do you guys know Bruno Duarte? I don't know if you guys ever watched the show. Oh, what's the Bravo show that he is from? Below Deck. I'm a huge Below Deck fan.
No, I don't really watch that.
No,
He's
I
really
don't.
so he was on one season, and he wasn't out at the time, but I had a huge crush on him because he's really sexy Spanish guy. Well, when he left the show, he then got into OnlyFans, which I haven't subscribed to, but I'd like to because he really is a beautiful man. That being said, he's been with his fiance for 7 years, and keep up with this next story because I want to know what you guys really think about it. Duarte met his new, so he has a fiance, but he met his new fiance Alex while still engaged to his last fiance,
Okay, wait
who
a
he'd been
minute.
dating for 7 years.
I'm already
Quote,
confused.
Okay, well, he has a
Okay.
fiance. Yeah, me and my boyfriend at the time were looking for a third for nice, fun sex. I met him last summer in his work. He works on a gay bar in Nice. I love Nice.
Mhm.
And when I talked to him for the first time, something sparked. And after going for a date, the three of us and I started to have feelings. Alex, who's the new guy, had someone, but they were kind of apart already. And I had to separate from my boyfriend at that time to be with Alex. But it wasn't, he talks about it so simple, like, oh, I had to leave him, but it wasn't smooth sailing at first, as Alex's ex wasn't exactly queuing up to catch the bouquet. As this article writes, quote, after a year, his ex-boyfriend tried to destroy all my social media and I lost my main accounts, 2 on Instagram and 1 on TikTok. It has been a crazy ride, but no one can't take us apart because we love each other like never before. And so it's kind of an interesting thing because he had one fiance, a person he was with for 7 years, and they were engaged. And he meets this guy in an open relationship to spark up something, but he has something more connected with the guy named Alex. And they drop their respective original partners to be together. Now, quote, now we live together in Nice, are getting married in August and moving to Mexico in September. That is like a lot of drama. I think I am all here for find the one you want and live your best life. I was looking at a friend of mine, Instagram, that I was involved with this guy. I talked about him a lot on this show, so you guys can do the math on who this may have been. Who I'm still friends with, even though he chose this guy and got married. And I saw all the pictures, and it looked like a great wedding. And as you'll remember on the show, the guy actually, the not my friend, but the one that he ultimately married, wrote into the show and didn't know he was writing into someone that had been with his fiance.
Yeah.
Anyways, the story. I was recently looking at my friend's Instagram, and I noticed, who's this new guy that my friend keeps posting with? Like, didn't he just get married last summer? And I think in my head, I've figured out he's no longer married anymore, or he's annulled it, and he's with this new guy.
Wow.
And I'm like, what is this the new reality that we're just jumping partners? And I mean, Jerry, what are your thoughts on this?
I
Love
mean,
is love, and you got to be with who you want, but
yeah,
crazy.
I think it's complicated and crazy, but I mean, such is life. And I think life
Yes.
is too short to spend it with someone that doesn't like really make you feel like you're content.
You know what? Beautifully well stated
Yes.
is when you first stated, and I keep thinking about, life is a pretty mess in many
Yeah.
ways, Erica Jane. Okay. But and it really, or a complicated mess, it's messy. It is. And I'm finally at my age getting that. Well, what are your thoughts on this, Cody?
Yeah, you think that sounds like a telenovela storyline.
I started with that because I was like, what? Maybe because I'm so attracted to Bruno that I'm like, what is he doing? But I'm with Jeremy now.
It happens all the time, and life is long, and all you can do is your best, and all you can do is hope for the best, and all you can do is act, and you have to try to act responsibly when it comes to your partners by being honest and communicating. If you find yourself more attracted to or more enamored with someone else, then all you can do is be honest with your current partner. Maybe there's a way that you can have a three-way relationship. There's so many options there in life, and all you can do is try and be as honest and communicative with your partner as possible.
Right. And we say this because it would be easy to be on the Bruno and this Alex side, because those two are riding off into the sunset.
That's right.
They are leaving behind two partners, one of which did not look at life as just complicated and, oh, well, let me try and pick up the pieces and move on. He took down Bruno's IG accounts, Twitter account, TikTok account, and came for him. That's another way that sometimes people respond. So while you are trying to live your best life sometimes, and maybe you did fall in love with somebody new, there are often people that are not handling it as well, like
Right.
this ex, and sometimes it can create havoc, like that guy.
Yeah.
And I would move to Mexico too after all that, and out of fear, let's get out of the country, honey, because I have something that we don't know if he's going to be coming around the corner.
And like, I can say what I said sitting from my position now where me and my boyfriend are so in love, but if he did that to me, it might be over. I might have a completely different stance. But so you can't talk to me right after it happens, but maybe down the line I'll be in a better mind space. So again, all you can do is your best out there.
Right. And I do believe now at this point, I really am maturing more in, this point in my life where if that had happened now, I think I could just be, if something's not working out, it's not working out for me. And I can listen, I pivot all the time. And if when I was younger, I would have had a lot more anxiety and it would have been the end of the world. And I think, with age, hopefully comes wisdom. And like you said, Jeremy, it's just, you got to move on and find your happiness instead of stalking somebody and doing all this other horrible things. So I can handle this now, but it's been years and years and a lot of therapy.
That's right.
Anyways, a recent Reddit thread on the Reddit thread that Ask Gay Bros prompted hundreds of responses. I want to know what you think of this, you guys. The poster titled his dilemma, "My boyfriend mocks me for doing, quote, gay stuff." Okay. He then went on to offer details. He's been with this guy for around a year. Quote, "Every time I pick up a blow dryer, I'm getting bad looks from my boyfriend. He would hate us, Jeremy. I was just traveling with my BFF Jeremy over the week, and I was like, "Yay! This is why I love getting ready with Jeremy. We have the same routine."
So
he
funny.
also got mad when he found out I'm using a conditioner. Oh, child,
Are
please!
you
Everyone should be
kidding
using
me?
conditioner.
Oh my God.
Last night I was putting on moisturizer on my arms, and he got up from bed, told me that it stinks, and left the room. In the morning, he told me that it didn't smell bad. He just couldn't handle me putting on a moisturizer. What?
Yeah.
Many people had a lot of things to say, tons of stuff. This isn't even gay. It's basic hygiene, bro. I was thinking the same thing too. Moisturizer, everybody should be moisturizing, honey.
Right.
I've moisturized since I was a kid. Since I was 12 or 13, I got into moisturization, and it has served me well, I have to say. But these aren't even really gay stuff. What are you? I mean, Jeremy.
I think that's just ridiculous, and I think he might need to recalculate on this relationship.
Believe it or not, this might sound extreme, but there are some gay guys that just are shocked when you get ready with them. They're like, "Oh wow, you do this," or "Oh wow, you do that." I had a friend that was staying over, and he was like, blow dryer, and he has a shaved head. And so I was like, yeah, I have hair. So, I mean, he wasn't saying it like this guy is. It was just pointing it out. That's why I often shut the door in those early weeks of getting together. It's like, we don't need to be showering together. We'll have plenty of sex, I promise.
Oh my goodness.
You don't need to know my whole routine, because you might, believe it or not, Cody, some people have issues with it just because they don't do it. But like I said, it served me well all these 50 plus years, and I'm going to continue to do me.
That's right, because good skin does not just happen. Let me just say that.
Okay.
All right? You can be born with the good genes, but you got to keep it up. You got to lather and moisturize and make sure that you're doing the right thing. My boyfriend has actually turned me on to some good face care products. That I don't do them all the time, but I make sure I actually have him do them some of the time, and I clip his nails sometimes. So,
no,
yeah.
You do not do that.
Oh, yes, I do, because he bites his nails, so I have to make sure that he doesn't bite them, and then I take care of my clip them.
Now you're the nail salon? I mean, what?
But yeah, this guy really...
That to me is going, I am not clipping anyone's nails.
So
please tell me you don't clip his toenails.
It's my poetic justice moment, girl.
Did that happen in Janet's poetic justice?
I'm going to send it to you. I'm going to send you the clip. She takes good care of Tupac. I love it.
Wow. That's too much, though, Jeremy. Do you think? Or would you do?
I would not do that.
The things I would do for a boyfriend, I have a really strong hand, and I give a really good massage, even though I couldn't do it for a living because my hands get really tired, but I have a really strong hand. And for those that like massage, I would do that periodically. And that would be a good barometer of how much I'm into the relationship. If you're getting a massage from me in the relationship, I'm really into you. If you're not getting it, you better start looking elsewhere, because it's about to dwindle here.
What about friends? Do you do that for friends too?
The most I'll do for a friend, which I did do for a friend of mine, he wanted me to clip. No feet stuff. And I like feet, but more not taking care of them. You need to come prepared.
Oh, no, massage.
Maybe.
Okay.
But they better be already manicured and ready to go.
Smelling good.
I will. Oil. A friend of mine, I did clip his back because he wanted me to clip the hair off his back.
Joe does that for me.
And it was more of like a girlfriend thing. But things like nose hairs and all that, honey, you better not have any nose hairs, and you better just manscape it. Use our 20% discount code and get rid of that shit. I don't want to deal with all that. No siree. Well, highly anticipated Billy Eichner film, Bros. Have you been hearing about this?
I have.
It's
I
go-
saw the commercial.
I haven't watched it. How does it look? Does it look enticing to you?
Yeah, it looks funny. It looks like kind of like a chick flick for the gays.
Yeah, he wants everybody to know it's not, he didn't just, put the cookie cutter of that on there, but it's the first of its kind because it's a first Hollywood studio backed, highly produced romantic gay rom-com to release by a major Hollywood studio nationwide. So that's what's different about this, and that's why I think a lot of people are getting excited about what he's doing. But he's really quick to tell everybody in a new interview for Rolling Stone that he is not holding back when it comes to gay sex. And I think he's been screening it for a lot of hetero cisgendered men, and they're here for it.
Oh.
Quote, there's an excitement to the reaction we're getting from straight audiences who've seen the movie at early screenings, shared Eichner, because it feels like you're getting a peek behind the curtain at a culture of dating and sex that straight people think they understand, but they don't really know what it's like. Though Bros is in part an homage to the classic adult rom-coms from, people like Nora Ephron films and James L. Brooke films, Eichner was adamant that his movie doesn't simply swap out a straight couple for a gay one. It's playing by its own set of rules, depicting all of the ways dating is unique for men who like men. And coming off of seeing that film Fire Island, which I can't talk about enough, I just loved it so much.
It is good.
But did you see it, Jeremy?
Yeah, I did. It's really cute.
Yeah, and I'm wondering, there were some scenes that I know the director really wanted to include that had more sex involved, but they didn't put it in there. I think Hulu had the last word on it. I think that film in general is getting a huge wide audience base because of Hulu, and probably even wider maybe because they didn't. And they were really trying to overcome some other things to put out there, like Asians helming a film. But do you think that straight audiences are ready to see some of the things he's talking about, four ways and stuff like that in Bros, Jeremy?
I don't really care if they are. They'll just have to
Good for that. Oh,
skip
yes,
that.
honey.
They'll either have to skip it or sit down and shut it.
But Jeremy is a man of few words today, but he's all succinct.
Yeah.
And every bit of what that word means, and I'm living for it.
I love
Thank
it.
you, Jeremy.
Put your pillow in the face and take it, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Cody?
No, I'm here for it. And I think that honestly, straight audiences will see how much we have in common they'll see what we have in common instead of the differences that we have. And like Jeremy said, if they can't take it, then they probably should just get up and get out and just get used to it, because we ain't going nowhere.
And we wanted to do well. I really am here for Billy Eichner. He is one of those celebrities that I think can put this movie out, and we wanted to do well. Why? Because we want other movies to be able to come out. And how many times have we seen, we love queens of the rom-com, Jennifer Lopez, who's put out so many great movies, rom-com movies, and she's got that recipe. Back in the day, Jennifer, I forgot her name, but apparently not that big. But there's a lot of those female, and they're always chick. Aniston, thank you. And on and on and on we could go on of all the female stars out there. I think it takes a Billy Eichner to start this trend, and we want them to do well so that there will be more of them. Because how many times have you watched one of those rom-coms and thought, I wish I could have that, but of course I can't have that. I'm not straight, and that's apparently only straights that get the rom-com right into the sunset kind of film. It's not for us. This is going to open the door for so many people. And if you think about it, all the major rom-coms of the world, or of the times, are in people's DVD collections. I mean, I'm talking old school, but there are films that you'll remember for years to come because they've got longevity, and they will probably give life to a lot of young kids out there remembering these kinds of films. And so as much as I want more indie films to come out, because that's when I think you can really push boundaries and change moods and tell a wider story, I think these are important too. So I'm here for it. And put that sex in there, Billy.
Yeah.
We want to see it. And it is different. And we want people to know that we don't just have sex the same way, and we're a little bit more, we get over that. When should you have sex? On the third date? It's usually, I'm sure it's going to be something like the first date or something like that. Yeah, we get that out of the way early on, and then we get to the love, and we Bruno Duarte it. We move on.
I agree. We can be hookers with hearts of gold too.
Hey, well stated. Okay, one-liner there. You woke up. Thank you very much.
Finally, about halfway through, I'm back.
Finally. Cece Peniston. Okay, let's thank you so much. This has been so much fun keeking it here on a post-Pride weekend. I want to thank my co-host, Jeremy Ross Lopez. Follow him on the IG at JRossLopez. Follow Cody Maurice Doggett. He's a life coach at KMD Coaching or at Mr. Maurice. And for crying out loud, follow us at Tags Podcast on all social media platforms. Thank you guys. So much fun.
Thank you.
Always.
In the meantime, continue having hot gay sex.
Finding the right person for the job isn't easy. Just ask someone who hired a stuntman to do their home renovations.
Just finished a new sunroom, Mrs. C. The best part is I used candy glass for all the windows, so you can do this. And this. Doesn't hurt a bit either.
But if you've got an insurance question, you can always count on your local Geico agent. They can bundle your policies, which could save you hundreds.
And if you don't want to take the long way to the kitchen, the walls are breakaway too. See?
For expert help with all your insurance needs, visit geico.com/local today.